It's here, the Volkswagen Taigun, the second car from the Skoda Volkswagen group with the MQB A0 iron platform and the first Volkswagen. Now, it has been a long time in the making, nearly 2 years ever since we first saw it in concept form at the Auto Expo. This is the final production version, and I have good news for you, thrill of driving enthusiasts. The GT version, which gets the 1.5 TSI Evo engine, will come in two variants. The one that we're driving right now is the entry-level variant. As you can see from the headlamps, these are not full LED headlamps. The wheels, those are 16-inch wheels. The other version gets 17-inch wheels. On the inside, there is no sunroof, there are no seat coolers, there is no virtual cockpit, and it gets a manual gearbox. I'm really excited to drive this, and the reason I am excited is that this is going to make the 1.5 engine more accessible, so more driving enthusiasts can get behind the wheel and experience the thrill of driving. Now, before we go ahead, please don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, hit the bell icon to subscribe to the channel and stay notified for all our videos. This is going to be a fun drive with what promises to be a really good fun car to drive. I must say that this is smart strategy on the part of Volkswagen to use the strengths of the GT badge and offer the 1.5 TSI only with the GT. It clearly differentiates it from the 1 liter, which will be the volume player obviously for Volkswagen, but the GT will indicate and will showcase the fact that this is the 1.5, and that's not the case with Skoda, where the Kushaq with the 1 liter and the 1.5 does not have any visual or even badging differentiation. So let's dive right into the engine, the performance, and how it drives. This is a 4-cylinder engine from the EA211 family. It displaces 1.5 liters, just under 1.5 liters, makes 148 bhp and 250 Newton meters of torque. And it is a 4-cylinder, so it is very smooth, very silent. We are cruising along at 100. You can hear a bit of wind noise. It's only when I step on the gas that I can hear a faint engine note. And at this speed, in 6th gear, you can see the eco mode light come on. So that tells you that the cylinder deactivation is working and it is running on 2 cylinders. And it's not like when it is running on 2 cylinders, it sounds or feels like a nano. Plus, when cylinder deactivation is operational, you cannot feel it. You can't feel it when it is switching from 2 to 4 or 4 to 2. It is all very seamless, very smooth. It's only that indicator on the display that tells you that deactivation is working. Otherwise, it is very, very smooth. This is also a very torquey engine. Peak torque comes in at 1600 RPM and stays flat all the way till 3500 RPM. So at highway cruising speeds, 6th gear has enough poke, enough grunt to make quick overtakes and to make cruising really, really effortless. So we are doing 100 right now. The motor is spinning at just above 2000 RPM. It's probably 2100 RPM. And yet there is punch. There is grunt to make a quick pass, to make a quick overtake. This is a lovely engine. Of course, this is going to be a very small fraction of Taigun numbers because the volume engine is going to be the 1 liter, which has been heavily localized. This engine is only assembled here in India. But for driving enthusiasts, there's a lot to enjoy in this engine. Now let's talk about the performance of this 1.5 engine. Volkswagen claims a 0 to 100 time of 9.1 seconds, which I'm sure is for the DSG gearbox because that has shorter gearing than the manual. In manual, you have to switch into 3rd to get to 100, so there is that extra shift time. And of course, the DSGs, they shift faster than even the fastest shifting drivers. But the manual, it lets you exploit the torque of the engine, and it also makes you more involved in the driving experience. Now I have to point out that the Taigun and the Kushaq drive the same. Some parts are different, but that is mainly to do with the exterior styling and the interiors. In terms of the mechanical makeup, the chassis, the suspension, the engine tuning, everything is bang identical. So they drive the same and they drive really, really well. This is the dynamic benchmark in the mid-size SUV segment. This is the most fun to drive. Skoda VW officials have been insisting that all the ironing that they've done to the MQB A0 platform, the Indianizing, has all to do with using local components, local steel, and not in terms of compromising on the strength, on the safety, or on the dynamic performance. In fact, they point out that the torsional rigidity of this platform is 30% more than that of the Polo. And the Polo, we still know that it is the best handling in its segment. Even though it is 12 years old now, it is still the best handling in this segment. So the Taigun, it takes things up a notch. I really cannot praise the dynamic competence of the Taigun enough. This is involving, this is engaging, this is fun, and it also feels very stable, very planted. You're cruising down the highway at decent triple-digit speeds, and it sits so well, so typically of a German car. This does not feel light or flighty. You're not fighting the steering wheel. Talking about the steering, the one dynamic flaw, according to me, is that at speed, the steering feels too light. So that robs it of that ultimate feeling of stability, of confidence, of that German car, how it sits flat and low to the ground. So in the city, it is really nice, but on the highway, a bit too light. Now, the handling has not come at the expense of ride quality. This suspension really takes Indian roads in its stride. So in the city, the small little speed breakers and bumps, you can flatten it all. You can feel it, but it is not uncomfortable. It does not jolt you or throw you around. You can feel that little firmness, but that makes it so good on the highway. So you hit a few bumpy patches and it just takes it all so well. This being the entry-level variant, it's got the 16-inch wheels, and that actually aids ride quality. It makes the ride slightly better than on the 17-inch wheels. So there you have a plus point when you opt for the entry-level variant. And I must talk about the gearbox, which feels so Germanic in that meatiness, that firmness to the shift quality. It engages you. It really shifts so well. It is very different from Japanese gearboxes, which are finger light. So you just use one finger and those Japanese gearboxes shift. Here you have to make a slightly more deliberate effort, but it just adds to the character of the car, which is strong, planted, muscular, and fun. This is the thrill of driving benchmark in this segment. I must also spend some time talking about the interior of the Taigun. Obviously, the architecture is very closely related to the Kushaq, but Volkswagen are doing a few things differently. One thing that is really noticeable is this body-colored inserts on the dash. Now, this is only on the cherry red exterior color. So with the red on the outside, you get red on the inside. And together with the red LED mood lighting on the seams, that gives it a very nice ambiance when it is dark. It really does lift up the cabin. The infotainment screen, it is a 10.1-inch infotainment screen. The Creta, Seltos, they do get bigger screens, but it's not like this is lacking in any way or it feels too small. You're not hunting around for icons. It has wireless CarPlay, which I really like, and a wireless charger, so you don't have to use cables at all. You get the new Volkswagen logo on the steering wheel, a different design of the steering wheel to the Kushaq. The Kushaq gets the 2-spoke. This is a more traditional 3-spoke steering wheel. This being the entry-level GT variant, you get analog dials. And I must point out the few things that we felt were lacking on the Kushaq. One is the multi-information display on the version with the analog dials. Well, the Kushaq does not even get virtual cockpit, it only gets analog dials. This MID feels a little old school. It does not feel very modern, especially when you compare it to the class rivals. But Volkswagen also offers you a virtual cockpit on the top-end variant. Now, what this version does not get is a sunroof. The top-end version gets a regular sunroof. There is no panoramic sunroof, and this is something that we also pointed out on the Kushaq. The quality of the roof liner, this is not good. And Skoda VW officials, they are cognizant of the fact and they are rushing in an update. But as of now, this is what you get, which is a big eyesore and a big miss. But unlike Skoda, Volkswagen have got their aircon vents all right. This does not feel flimsy or cheap, especially the ones at the corners where the Kushaq does feel lacking. The seats, they adjust for height. The steering, it adjusts for reach as well as rake. So it moves in 4 directions, which gives you a very good driving position. The visibility is good. Everything comes to hand really well. The ergonomics are sorted. I like the fact that Volkswagen have not switched the indicators to the right side. They've kept it on the left. Typically, Volkswagen feels like a German car to operate also. And overall, this is a very nice cabin. You also get this carbon fiber effect trim that separates the body colored dash inserts, which again is a nice touch on the styling front. The aircon panel is shared with the Kushaq and it is a touch panel, but there are nice indents so you can operate the aircon without having to take your eyes off the road. If you want to have more fun, you can switch off ESP and the button is right up there on the infotainment, not hidden in multiple menus. You can't switch it off completely, that's there, but you do get a regular manual handbrake, no electronic parking brake, and ESP button out there. You get 2 trims on the GT. This is the regular GT, which gets the manual gearbox on the outside. It does not get the full LED headlamps, gets smaller 16-inch wheels, and on the inside, analog dials, no sunroof. This is the GT Plus, full LED lamps, the full width LED DRLs, the eyebrows on top, and you get a lot of chrome. You get chrome on the grille, this big fat band of chrome on the bumpers. The GT Plus also gets 17-inch wheels, and these roof rails, they are usable. You can put slight load on it. Maybe you want to put a cycle on it. It can hold it. Now, in terms of the styling, Kushaq and Taigun, viewed in profile, both look identical. They're made on the same line. The body panels are all the same, but the front end and the rear end treatment is different. The Taigun from the front, it looks like a baby Tiguan, which is a very good thing. It's keeping in with the Volkswagen styling DNA, but it has been Indianized, so you get a lot of chrome. And at the rear, it looks completely different from the Kushaq, thanks to this full width LEDs and also this blacked out tail lamp treatment. And now, the 1.5 TSI Evo with the DSG twin clutch automatic gearbox. Now, it makes the same power and torque, 148 bhp, 250 Newton meters of torque, but this DSG gearbox, like all Volkswagen DSG gearbox, is quick shifting, it's energetic, it gives you snappy up and down shifts. It also has paddle shifters behind the steering wheel for manual control. You can stick the gearbox into manual mode via the lever, or you can put it into sport. So just tap it into the back and it goes into sport mode, tap it once again and it goes into regular drive mode. And this is an excellent gearbox. In this category, this is the fastest shifting, smoothest twin clutch automatic gearbox. Now, the DSG gearbox is only available on the GT Plus variant. On the exterior, like I've already spoken about, you get the full LED lights, you get the 17-inch wheels, and on the inside, you get this regular sized sunroof. It's not a panoramic roof, it's a regular sized sunroof, and the big differentiator is actually the digital instrument cluster. Now, I have to point out, this digital cluster is not a full width digital cockpit like what you would get in an Audi or even the Hyundai Alcazar for that matter. This is only an 8-inch screen, and on the edges, those are actually blanks with that black and red graphic. The display of the cluster, that can be changed, so you can get this big digital readout in the center, or you press the view button and you get the speed, a big speedo, or you get a big tacho with the gear indicator on the left, the digital speed readout on the right, and then what is on the left and right can also be adjusted. You can switch those views also, so you can get driving data, economy, all of that. So you can keep changing and altering what you want. It actually is nicely designed. The quality is good. It doesn't feel like a cheap screen, but it's not full width. Though, honestly speaking, at first go, you won't even notice it because the integration has been done so well. Another thing that I should point out is both the GT trims don't have leather seats and neither are they cooled. So you get the same fabric seats that is also there on the regular GT. No coolers out here. Now, you can grumble that you don't get seat coolers and all of that, but what I suspect that will do is that will reduce the cost of the Taigun compared to the Kushaq. So this might actually be very competitively priced. You can always keep our fingers crossed. In terms of the setup, both the GT and the GT Plus are identical, save for the bigger wheels on the GT Plus. Now, that makes a slight difference in terms of the ride quality, so you can feel that additional firmness. When we came down this road, I barely felt all the small ripples on the highway, but here you can feel a little bit more of the ripples. So these small undulations does filter a little bit more into the cabin. Of course, you get slightly more cornering grip because of the wider footprint, but otherwise they are identical. Of course, the 17s, they fill out the wheel arches better, so it has a better stance, looks a little more muscular. It's also a nicely designed alloy wheel. All variants of the Taigun, they get drum brakes at the rear, not disc brakes, but the brake feel, the braking power, the retardation, all of that is top notch. Only thing that you would notice is that if you're trying to do handbrake turns, this handbrake, it doesn't lock the rear wheels completely, so you can't slide it around. You have to be a little more aggressive to do slides with the Taigun, or even the Kushaq for that matter. But then this is not the car to be doing all of that. The Polo, yeah, but not here, so that's a moot point. This is the version of the Taigun that does 0 to 100 in a claimed 9.1 seconds. And it also has a claimed top speed of 190 kilometers per hour. So this is quick. These DSG gearboxes, they are involving. They're not like those other torque converters or even the other DCT gearboxes in this category. They respond really quickly, very enthusiastically, and they complement the engine. And of course, for city driving, an automatic is always preferable to a manual, considering our congested city driving conditions. But overall, I really love the way the Taigun rides. So planted, so stable, so confidence inspiring. I only wish the steering had a little bit more weight at speed, but otherwise, it's such a joy to drive. And I'm really glad that they did this media drive out here, because a mix of city roads, highway roads, all kinds of conditions that we are encountering, it gives you a better understanding of what the car can do, what it is capable of, how well it has been engineered, and also the fact that there are no compromises. Few areas like this roof liners, that all will be sorted out in time and really quickly, Volkswagen guys tell us. But otherwise, the quality of the plastics are perfectly alright. On the door pads, a little hard and scratchy, but I have no problems. The places that you touch very often, like for instance the armrests on the door pads, that's nicely finished. These armrests are also nicely finished. The ergonomics are nice. The seating position is good. You can get an excellent driving position. In terms of space, I must point out that this is a comfortable 4-seater, but it is a bit narrow, so squeezing 3 at the back is going to be tight. And on the safety front, the GT Plus variant will get 6 airbags. So unlike the Kushaq, where on the DSG you do not get 6 airbags, here with the DSG you can get 6 airbags. Maybe that's why leather seats and seat coolers have been knocked off. So the pricing would be the same. And what would you prefer, 6 airbags or leather seats that are cooled? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. As for us, obviously, safety takes priority over everything else. Our verdict has to be tempered with expectation of pricing. Now, obviously, we don't know what the Taigun is priced at, but we do know what the Kushaq is priced, and for all intents and purposes, it will be more or less identical. So, is it super competitive? Not really, because it doesn't undercut the Creta, but Volkswagen aren't interested in bringing out a stripped-down base variant either. They're looking for enthusiasts like you and me, and for us, this Taigun is fantastic. The chassis, the handling, the balance of ride and handling is spot on. When you drive it, it puts a great big smile on your face. Plus, this 1.5 TSI Evo engine, it is smooth, it is fast, it is torquey, it makes long drives an absolute pleasure. I also think that VW have got their model strategy really done nicely. This GT is going to be their launch variant, so they are going to push the GT at the start, and also the GT and the GT Plus, they are visually differentiated from each other, so that differentiation will work really well and work in their favor. But ultimately, this is the thrill of driving benchmark, and for that, it's great that the Taigun is finally here on the road.